Hello, folks, and welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Joe to and Love. Back here today for sports review topics, mainly picks edition. The other day was the whole recap about the NFL Week 17, the semifinal great games for college football playoffs, as well as talk about some of the bowl games that were non-playoff situated. Something I didn't talk about, though, was Kirby Smart and his assessment on one of the big issues, or arguably the biggest issue as far as bowl games. When it comes to, just the whole NCAA portion and how it's been basically killing, the sport in a way. So, what Kirby Smart talked about in his post-game presser of the 63-3 Orange Bowl over Florida State was he talked about the opt-outs for both sides with Georgia and Florida State and how that is just not very equipped, and it provides a damper on the aura of the bowl games. Just how it is, and it's an issue. Whether a team's in a playoff game or not. I mean, 6-3-3. Look, Florida State, would they have been blown out by that much had Jerverse played, had, a lot of their players not opt out? Probably not. Would they still have lost by a good amount? Perhaps, but it's out there, the amount of opt-outs, the lack of players, just not playing. It's unfortunate, and two of the better teams, it certainly wasn't Wisconsin and LSU, how that great game unfolded. But yeah. Basically, I wanted to get it out of the way before I get into the pick side, because I know I went into a big discrepancy about, the playoff games and talked about it a whole lot. So, nonetheless, we'll go over picks first for the NFL side for NFL Week 18, and then go over some of the news topics around sports world happens, and then we'll go over Michigan, Washington, give my pick on that, and yeah. So, NFL Week 18, it's sad, but now we're at the end of the NFL regular season, which has been a journey throughout this past 17 weeks or so, but it is always fun for football season. Now hearing that the XFL and the USFL have united to be the UFL, it's certainly going to buy time for the folks that love pro football and, certainly fill that gap in spring, summertime. So hopefully it helps. But let's go over NFL picks and talk about playoff scenarios, see how it unfolds. So, obviously, a bunch of players, bunch of playoff scenarios have already clinched. So, see how that base is in pretty much everyone's picks when it comes to this weekend. So let's start first and foremost. So, 2 games on Saturday. So start first with what is always a classic and always a fun eye-popper to see rivalry between the Steelers and the Ravens. So, for the Steelers, it's simple. When you're in, or I should say when, if Houston, Indy tie, if Buffalo or Jacksonville loses, combined with a win, then they're in. But they gotta get past the Ravens first. Now, the Ravens, Lamar Jackson not gonna play. I imagine a few other stars are not gonna play in Baltimore after clinching the 1 seed. So, gotta remain healthy. Steelers, Mason Rudolph, it's weird to see, but he's provided an extra oomph in the offense as of late, and we'll see how it goes. I do think it's going to be a low scoring, kind of tough game, but Steelers favored, Ravens players sing out. I'm going with 16-10. Steelers win. This line has shaped a few different ways. So, got Texans at Colts. Pretty simple. You win and you're in. As far as playoff berth is concerned, and both these teams can still win the division, provided with Titans beating the Jags. But it originally started 1-point favorites for the Colts. Now it's swayed to the Texans side. 1-point favorites. CJ Stroud, healthy. We can see the offense has gotten a boost from that. Nico Collins is healthy again. They're had a fun season, over 1,000 yards. Devin Singletary, Damian Pierce at running game. Now, they won't have Jonathan Grenard, who has had a very good season, over, I believe, 12 sacks on the season. But they still have Will Anderson, two of the best coaches this year. Both have had stellar first seasons. I'm going to go with the Texans. I believe in CJ Stroud more than Gardner Minshew. It's tough, but yeah, I'm going with Texans now, 24-20. Bucks going to Carolina. This is unique. Bucks favored 4 points, or this kind of swayed, 5.5, 3.5. Bottom line is they're favored. Bucks. It's simple. They win the division. However, if they lose, then it becomes squarely for the Saints and the Falcons. But it's been hard to trust Bryce Young. It's like he has that good comeback. First, the Packers, and then they lay an egg versus the Jags. I mean, tough pick. And yes, I picked Baker, and Saints, that was kind of must win, so I can see that. I'm just counting on Baker and the Bucks more than I do Bryce Young, so I'm gonna go with 20-10. Bucks win and they win the division. Browns at the Bengals. Bengals now favored by a touchdown, so I have to change now. See, now that the Ravens have locked up the 1 seed, now it's like, okay, the Browns are pretty much locked in to the 5 seed. So, I mean, Joe Flacco, I imagine more stars are going to be out. But, Bengals eliminated last week after they lost to the Chiefs. Kind of feels like this about pride now. So, I'm going to say 20-14. Bengals win. Lions hosting the Vikings. Boy, has the vibe around this game changed. So, for a while, it's like a month ago, it seemed like it could be for the division. Now, Lions have locked up the division. They had a chance at the 1 seed. Now with that decision and loss to the Cowboys, they're basically locked into the 3 or the 2. Now, if they win, and so they would have to win, Cowboys would have to lose to the Commanders, and then the Eagles would have to beat the Giants, which is not out of the realm, to be the 2 seed. But this is a weird game because the Vikings still have a chance at the playoffs, but it's kind of like a slim chance now from where they were a matter of weeks ago. I mean, I just feel like Dan Campbell, he probably has a sour taste in his mouth, and he probably, wants to just win this game and going right for the playoffs. So I'm going to say 24-17, Lions win at home. Patriots hosting the Jets. Patriots 1.5 point favorites at home. Patriots, after a forgetful first half, started the game. They managed to make it tight for a touchdown game later, but Bills hung on. Jets, we know the story. I mean, it's like played prideful, against the Texans, against the Commanders. That defense, unfortunately, without the offense, it has regressed. Who knows? This might be Belichick's last game for the Patriots. Who knows? But if it is, despite this bad season, I just feel like the Patriots and Belichick at home don't want to go on a loss. So I'm going to say 17-14. Patriots win. Saints hosting the Falcons. Saints 3.5-point favorites at home. Now, again, if the Bucs lose earlier to the Panthers, this for the division. So that's to keep in mind for this game. And it's tough because that was a must win for the Saints against the Bucs, and the Saints pulled it out. Had 2 turnovers off Baker. Falcons, they played well to start first the Bears, and then they kind of felt unraveled. This is tough because both teams have been disappointments throughout the year, but shown life at points. But I'd say at home, just weird. I'm going to go with the Saints. 21-20. Jags at the Titans. Jags now 3.5-point favorites on the road. Jags, simple. They win the division. And they still have a chance to make the playoffs if not. But they need help. So, we'll see. But I was definitely worried when the news came out when Trevor Lawrence wasn't going to play. But CJ Beathard and the offense managed to pull it out, and great job by the defense. Josh Allen had 3 sacks. Trevor Walker has had a better sophomore year. Certainly showing for the former first-round pick, number 1 overall pick, 9 sacks. I just feel like the defense, against that so-so offensive line of the Titans, is it going to be Will Levis? Is it going to be Ryan Tannehill? I don't know. But I'd say with the division on the line, 21-14 Jags. And Trevor Lawrence seems like he's on track to play. This is tough. Seahawks in Arizona. Seahawks 3-point favorites. If they win and Green Bay loses, then Seattle's in the playoffs, I assume, as the 7th seed. To me, I think they're the better team, I'd say, for the playoffs. It's weird, but close. But if I had to pick, I'd say the Seahawks are the more playoff team than the Packers, but we'll see. Any event, it's in Arizona. That was a great win for the Cards. In Philly, that was certainly what Kyler Murray had to show. Certainly in the recap, because, new coach, new owner, or new GM, I should say. You don't know if he's going to be a quarterback for Arizona next season or not. But that was a great, solid performance in that win in Philly. You can also tell that he is getting healthier, certainly after tearing his ACL last season. So, I mean, this is tough. But I feel like after an emotional win and, after that loss by Seattle, I feel, the turnarounds, the rebounds, I'd say 24-20 Seattle. And then we move to Green Bay, Chicago, the oldest rivalry in the books. In Green Bay, simple for them. Win, and they're in the playoffs. Now, against the rival Chicago, it's funny how the season started, in Chicago, pretty much felt like an easy game for the Packers most of the way. And then you saw, of course, the development of Jordan Love, it was okay, and then he's morphed into good. Yeah, it's been tough, but I'd say... But like I mentioned about the Bears, 4-2 in their last 6 games since Fields has returned. They've been playing better ball. Their defense has been stout. I feel like 27-20 Bears. It's like you won. It's hard to sweep. So, I mean, Bears win. And send the Seahawks to the playoffs by my feeling. So, Chiefs at the Chargers. Chargers, because Patrick Mahomes not going to play. They clinch. They're basically locked into the 3 seed. So, yeah, Patrick Mahomes going to sit. Blaine Gabbert's going to play. The interim coach now for the Chargers, it's like play inspiring versus the Bills. Including many turnovers. They looked iffy versus the Broncos. I don't know. I just feel like they got it. Feel like I trust Easton Sick. I like Blaine Gabbert, but I feel like Easton's sick, and at home, even though it may feel like a road game, I'm going with the Chargers here, 19-13. Broncos at the Raiders. Both teams eliminated. If the Bengals lost to the Chiefs, then, Chiefs would have to face, play their starters, and then this could be for the AFC West title if KC lost, but nonetheless, this is kind of for pride how I've finished out the season. So, Russell Wilson was benched. Sim didn't do a lot, but they got the win against Chargers. It's weird, but I'm saying in Vegas favored. I'm going with the Raiders to finish out the season, over the Broncos. Eagles at the Giants. Eagles 6-point favorites on the road. Eagles have been in a turmoil, you could say. On one hand, you can say they scored 31. On the other hand, they scored 35 on them by Kyler Murray in the offense, or Cardinals. This time it's in New York. Giants should have won that game against the Rams. And then it's like in New York, that probably motivated them. And, this tough. You could have also said the Giants could have won in Philly. I don't know, this sounds weird, but I'm going to go with the Giants here, 20-17. Carson Wentz versus Sam Darnold. I'm not sure if anyone had that on their bingo card in 2023. Or 2024, I should say, but 2023 season. In any event, Carson Wentz versus Sam Darnold. Christian McCaffrey won't play due to, obviously clinching the 1 seed. And, so I'm not sure how many starters can sit. I imagine we'll see more Elijah Mitchell and Jordan Mason at running back, which they're solid. The Rams have voiced, no Stafford, no Kupp, no Kyron Williams. Tough. I like Carson Wentz over Sam Darnold as far as the battle of backups. It's weird. I'm going to go with no number of stars. I'm going to go with the Niners, so 17-12. Commanders hosting the Cowboys. Pretty simple for the Cowboys. They win, and they win the division. Last year was a simple spot of winning and get right into the playoffs. They couldn't get it done. It was just a bad day in Washington. Once again, they finished Washington, but this time they have a chance to win the division if they win. Simple as that. Yeah, I'm going with the Cowboys 28-14. Look, feels like something the Cowboys would mess up. But, Dak, I think they know this is a must-win game because we've seen, it's weird to say because it's on the road, but they know, and people look statistically how much better they've been at home than on the road. So, winning and getting the 2 seed, then that's a big lift for them. Then going on the road, then perhaps playing against Baker, or if they were on the road versus the Bucs, I'd be concerned. Not as much as, say, in Atlanta or New Orleans. But yeah, I'd say It's a must win for Dallas as far as their playoff hopes, to further themselves. So 28-14 Cowboys. And Sunday nights, kind of how things fall into place. Bills in Miami play the Dolphins. The AFC East title on the line. The 2 seed on the line. Something's got to give. So, and especially for the Bills, because if they lose with help, they can miss the playoffs. Miami, they lose, they're still in the playoffs. So this is an extra motive knowing that they have to win to probably be in the tournament. It's tough because in Buffalo already won 48-20. Although Miami put up a very good fight in the first half. This is tough. It's going to be a fun game. But the way Buffalo's been playing right now, been playing like how we expect. They're playing like they have a chip on their shoulder in a way sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. And, against the Chargers, against the Patriots at times, I'm going with the Bills here, 31-26. So there's my Week 18 NFL picks. So, see how that figures out. So, we'll see. So, now let's move over to Monday. So, College Football National Championship. Michigan and Washington. Here it's set. So, Michigan beat Bama. Washington beat Texas. Gonna be tough. So, I looked and it says Michigan's a 4.5 point favorite. So, Washington, now, I'm sure many will agree. I picked them against Oregon, or picked Oregon against them. Wrong. Picked them against, or picked Texas to beat them. Wrong. They have found ways to win. And basically almost coughed up that game versus Washington. Or Texas. Texas. But they found a way to win. Michael Penix is really playing himself up draft boards and stats. Just the way he's been playing, it's been great to see. He is arguably the best passer in the country. And their offensive line, especially, the job they did for Texas, that was something. Now, going to Michigan, or playing Michigan and Houston. So, gonna be interesting. So, Michigan, the story of the game for Bama was their pass rush. Their pressure. We know the deal with Washington being able to hit those big plays, and I thought Texas, their pass rush, was going to do better versus Washington, but that was not the case. Their offensive line held up really well. Now, Michigan's pass rush is definitely better than Texas. The question is their offense. Is it more? I'm not sure if it's as explosive as Texas is. You know, being able to get those chunk plays, I'm not sure. J.J. McCarthy in the offense has, the last few weeks, their offense has been not as good. But credit, same way as Washington, they have found ways to win. Whether it was against Penn State, whether it was against Ohio State, and against Bama. And, J.J. McCarthy, kind of has that dog in him. Same with Blake Corum. So, I mean, this is going to be a fun game. It's going to be tough. I'd say maybe 28-24 Michigan. Yeah, this is going to be a tough battle. I can see it for both sides, but yeah, we'll see. Both have good receivers. I definitely give the edge to Washington. Yeah. It is going to be tough. So, a bit of news for wrap around the sports world before we get out here and get out of things. So, Dalvin Cook. Who was released by the Jets, aiming to be signed with a contender, according to his agent, has signed with the Baltimore Ravens. With Baltimore, we know they lost Keaton Mitchell, but still their offense is still wired heavily. And we know the committee they like at running backs. Dalvin Cook, I'm not sure if he still has that same explosive burst he has in the run game. But, if he can provide this role in Baltimore's run game, credit to him, and we know he can catch a little bit out of the backfield. Ricky Rubio. It was announced that he has decided to call it quits after. So he was drafted in 2009. So this was 15th season. Well, Rubio, I definitely enjoyed watching him play, especially with tie when your brother-in-law is from Spain as well. So there was that tie in Spain. Nonetheless, he was a fun player, whether it was in Minnesota or Cleveland. So fun ride to watch him play, but the last couple of years he's been more of a role player, and especially with him now tearing his ACL in late 2021, luckily he was able to come back. But I mean, yeah, it's been a weird road for him. But hope for him and hope for the best going forward. It's been congrats on a heck of a career for Ricky Rubio. Want to get some notes about. Okay. So, lastly, sorry about that lower interruption, but nonetheless. So, the Pro Bowl rosters for NFL. We won't go over everyone, but I do want to talk about a few interesting selections. So, great to see Brock Purdy is the starter for the NFC after his, mixed reactions basically all year. So, congrats to him. DeAndre Swift, Kyler Williams, Christian McCaffrey, great for them to be a part of the NFC. Raheem Mostert, job he's done for the Dolphins this year. James Cook and Derrick Henry, cool as there. If you ask me, Josh Allen should be quarterback instead over Patrick Mahomes, but that's just me. Anyways, so Alec Ingle did a good job for the fullbacks for the Dolphins. He beat out Patrick Ricard. Interesting. No, it's there. Puka Nacua, as a rookie, he's done a heck of a job. Great for him to make his first Pro Bowl. He's had a solid season. Amari Cooper returns for the AFC side. He had a heck of year for the Browns, so kudos there. As well as another Brown, David Njoku. Right. Very solid year in his own right. Sam Laporta made alongside George Kittle for the NFC tight ends. I think we can all say, despite his great year, if TJ Hawkinson did not get hurt, he would have had 1,000 yards and would have probably made the Pro Bowl. But still, credit to Laporta, great job. Tyler Linderbaum, that's good to see for the Ravens. The young center, great for him. Panay Sewell, Laremy Tunsil, some of the tackles, no aid for the Pro Bowl, so great job there. Stalwarts for offense. Now for defense. Montez Sweat made it for the pass rush for the NFC. Interesting. He had a good amount of sacks for both the Commanders and the Bears, so really credit to him. Aiden Hutchinson, good job for him. Last year there was skepticism about Aaron Donald making it. I think there's a bit less this year, because he had a better year, certainly, than he had last year. 8 sacks, so solid for him. Matt Buke, solid job for him. He had, 12.5 sacks this season. Very good for him. Josh Allen, Josh Allen, Khalil Mack, and of course TJ Watt, now healthy. Last year he made it over Alex Highsmith, but credit to him. They've all had great seasons, as well as Parsons, Hunter, and Reddick. Bobby Wagner is still going strong. The two linebackers of the Ravens, they made it for the AFC. Roquan Smith and Patrick Queen, so solid job for them. A interesting pack for the corner group. So, for the NFC side, you got Deron Bland, who has led the league in picks this year. Charvarius Ward, Jalen Johnson. Credit to him, he's underrated. Devin Witherspoon. He hasn't been fully healthy, but he made it. When healthy, he's been solid, so credit to him. For the safety side, this has been gotten some traction. So, Antoine Winfield Sr. was reportedly not happy with Budda Baker making in over Antoine Winfield Jr. I mean, credit. Antoine Winfield Jr. had a great season, statistical season, and really credit to him. Yeah, I agree. He certainly was snubbed from the Pro Bowl. Julian Love certainly had a heck of a job this year as well. Kyle Hamilton, considering what he's done this season, I'd say heck of a job. Great to see Brandon Aubrey make it after, first year in the NFL after the USFL for 2 years. So credit to him. Yeah, good stuff. But out of the way, thank you guys for joining me today on the pod. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm your host, Joe to Love. Enjoy the festivities, enjoy the weekend, enjoy all sports going forward. See you guys sometime early next week. But adios. Peace.